Cocktail party is in the books. Georgia comes out victorious, and yet the sky is falling. Everything is horrible. We're losing to Tennessee and Kentucky, and more than likely Georgia Tech, because we can't stop turning over the ball.
Goodness gracious. That escalated quickly.
And that's overreaction time.
There we go.
Here we go. Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, friends? I am Daniel. He is Clint. This is the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. I'm having none of that cold open. I'm just going to ignore it. I'm going to zag. I'm going to go the other direction. I refuse to even participate in such lunacy, debauchery. All right, listen. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here, subscribing. Florida fans, we know you're still there. We know you're in the comments. We know you're still watching the pod religiously like you were all week this week.
You're still here.
Listen, the cocktail party is over. People are excited to talk about Tennessee. Tennessee fans are here. Welcome, Tennessee fans. I'm not going to speak about you at all this podcast because you are not relevant to me or my university. Okay. What's relevant is that our little brother Florida cannot get up off the mat. You understand? They're down, and we've got our foot on their head, and they are unable to rise up off the ground.
Oh, look, I don't know how many graduate assistants. I don't know how many social media people they got. I don't know how many support staff
Somebody named Katie that apparently is real significant, real significant addition.
I feel bad for her because I guarantee you, she's a very kind and loving gal.
She didn't do anything wrong.
She did nothing. She caught a stray from Florida
Florida
fans,
from her own fan base,
which is such a shame. Look,
you know who else caught a stray? Anthony Richardson. You know what the stray's name was? Jamon Dumas Johnson. That was it.
Okay. Because here's the thing: all of them graduate assistants, all of them support staff are going to have the toughest time in the world, scraping up the roadkill that is Florida program after Kirby, who just says, "Boom, you motherless people, you motherless people." Kirby says, "Boom, I have brought the boomstick, and it is loud," and that's exactly what happened.
Listen, Kirby not chopping cilantro over there. Kirby just
ain't no cilantro.
He's doing some other kitchen preparation moves. He's chopping wood. That's what he's trying to do over there. Okay,
that's exactly what he's doing.
Listen, Billy Napier runs a joke of a program at Florida. He's Dan Mullen 2.0.
He's the exact.
They believe that they've upgraded, and I don't want to say mean things about people on the podcast. It's not really what the podcast is about. Okay? But Anthony Richardson is Reggie Ball 2.0. And if you don't think that's true, go back and watch him throw it out of bounds on purpose twice on fourth down.
It's fourth down. If he throws an incompletion, it goes to us.
He is one of the worst SEC quarterbacks I've seen since Fatone Bauta in the Georgia-Florida game all those years ago.
Look, Daniel.
Listen, Anthony, but that's the thing is, this is their choice. This is the guy they want.
We had no option.
Their back is not against the wall here. Yeah. This is their Heisman Trophy candidate.
That's right.
This man cannot throw. He cannot throw, Clint, to save his life.
No, Daniel, no.
Florida's down. They're not coming back anytime soon. Georgia owns this series. Georgia owns this rivalry. Georgia owns the city of Jacksonville. Urban Meyer and Steve Spurrier are ghosts. They are just a thing of the distant past.
Look,
you want to talk about 1980? Let's talk about Steve Spurrier being relevant to college football.
As far as Urban Meyer's yacht is from the nearest Coast Guard station, that's how far you are from relevance, Florida fan.
Florida is not coming back anytime soon. Georgia owns this rivalry. Georgia owned this game with the exception of a very concentrated portion right at the beginning of the second half. So, Clint, I'm going to give you the choice.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that first, that portion of the game, or do you want to talk about the rest of the game? Because we're going to talk about both on the podcast today.
Oh, of course.
Which one do you want to cover first?
We're going to give the loyal third segment listeners our saltiness. We're going to let them take the salty. We're going to save that.
Hang on to it. Okay.
We're going to hang on. I'm going to jump in and I'm going to gush over probably two or three players.
Because you sent me some text today that you want to talk about Urban Meyer's yacht. You sent me some text today that M-Dubs thought he was bracing himself for my text for the game, but I forgot to pad up for some of your texts, Clint, because should we talk about the first Georgia tight end to have 150 yards receiving in the game since Randy McMichael? Should we talk about him, Clint?
Be still my look here. I'll give you a little. His name's Jalen Carter. His name's JDJ. His name's Brock Bowers. Branson Robinson. We're going to get to all of them. We're going to get all right after this. But first, I want you to know about BetOnline. BetOnline is your sportsbook experts. They have everything that you need. Danny and I made some change happening this weekend. We made you some coin. We made some coin. Did you?
That under.
That was harsh. That was harsh. Look, not of the UGA.
We're not to that point. That's for the third segment. Sorry.
That's third segment listeners get the saltiness.
For the third segment.
BetOnline is your sportsbook experts. They're the official sportsbook of Locked On Bulldogs, Locked On Podcasts. Everywhere. They're safe. They're reliable. All the lines, all the over-unders that you need. All your hard-earned cash should go to BetOnline because they are, like I said, the official sportsbook podcast or sportsbook of this podcast and Locked On Bulldogs. Get over there right now.
Tennessee fans, glad you're still here. You're still not relevant. We're not talking about you. Let's talk about Jalen Carter. He's back. And he seems, how do I say, healthy, Clint. He appears healthy.
He's very healthy.
Mobile. He's moving well.
Swiveling hips and getting upfield and taking blockers with him. You could put 2 on him. You could put 3 on him. Look, I know last year we saw Jordan Davis get double team, triple team, and it freed up everybody else. I see Jalen Carter hunting double teams, picking up guards and taking them with him as he takes on a tackle.
Jordan Davis, big difference between 99 and 88. Jordan Davis used to get double teamed so other people could make the tackle. 88 gets double teamed so that he can make the tackle. That's the difference between those two men.
It doesn't sound logical, but it's true.
But watch the tape. Jalen Carter is a beast. He is a difference maker. Yep. He is the best defensive player in all of college football.
Yep.
And the fact that he's back and healthy is a huge boon. Now, he didn't play all the snaps today.
No.
Right?
No.
He was used specifically and in certain packages. He was used a lot on third downs. So he didn't play all the snaps, but the fact that he was out there and how he looked when he was out there. I mean, jumping over people, pursuing down the field, running to the sidelines. You saw things out of him that made you think, okay, he's not 80% out there. He feels good. They limited the pitch count today for Jalen.
This was a trial run,
Daniel. Forward. Smile Mondon also back and making impacts, looked good.
Yes, sir.
In terms of players returning from injury. Those two were huge for the defense.
Look, I came on this podcast a number of years ago, and Roquan Smith was my favorite Georgia Bulldog.
Let's talk about the captain, though. If we could. Let's talk about the captain.
Roquan Smith was my first love of a player. I love the program. I love the coach. I love the team. I love the story, all of that. But Roquan Smith has and then I set eyes on this lad named Nakobe Dean, and I said, oh my.
Oh,
he's going to bring.
Here's a new thing.
Here's a new flavor of the month, and he's going to bring him a national championship.
Okay, he did that.
And then I look at JDJ, and I said, who was before this man? Because I don't care. Because Nakobe Dean
and physical
was not this good when he was JDJ's year and progress in the program. If you were to take the timeline of these two, Nakobe Dean, Roquan Smith, and JDJ, JDJ is well ahead. Dumas Johnson, well ahead of those other guys. I don't know what his ceiling is. Those other two have all career ceilings.
Correct. Right.
But so far, the tape, the physicality, the speed, the absolute violence tells me
he's in every
ceiling
play.
is high.
He's in the right spot on every play. Now, he doesn't have the elite speed that Roquan or Nakobe had. And you saw that. ETN beat him to the sideline.
Got to the sideline.
A bad angle.
Yeah.
But he's got enough speed, and he's got that physicality, and he just hits the hole. He's in on every play, Clint. You cannot overstate it when a guy's in on every play. That's not luck, and that's not skill.
Nope.
That's intelligence. That's what that is. That's knowing more than the rest of the players on the field know. That's how you get into every tackle. That's how you are meeting the running back in every hole. That's what it means. Like, that's what JDJ has, and that's what makes him stand out and makes him such an asset and such a weapon on this defense. Most valuable player on the defense, Clint. And
not even close.
That's not trying to take anything away from Christopher Smith, who, by the way, was a freaking animal in this game today.
Heat-seeking missile. He had Richard LeCount downhill tackling ability, but he has Christopher Smith.
Which was not his game.
No,
that was not his game.
We've added that.
Lucine was supposed to do that.
Yes.
Christopher Smith is supposed to be the kind of the heady center field, floor general, make sure everybody's lined up well, pretty decent ball skills. But he's angry at some people this year.
Oh, he's coming for blood, Daniel.
People just now realizing this is a top 1 or 2 round draft pick in the NFL. I'm just trying to tell you, listen to the podcast.
Preseason said this cat's going to sneak up. He's going to be a Lucine ascension in this coming draft.
We say a lot of dumb things on the podcast.
We do.
We get that.
But that one?
This one wasn't that dumb.
I'm holding on to that. We definitively called DeAndre Baker a not lockdown corner.
Okay. We say some dumb things, but we also say some not dumb things. We also called someone else a lockdown corner, but maybe
third segment. Saltiness comes in third segment. Danny.
Oh, I see. Can we talk about the offense? Can we talk about Brock Bowers? For the love of God. I mean, what are we doing out here? What's the podcast so far?
He doesn't miss on anything. Blocking, check. Every big run that Branson Robinson, that McIntosh, that Dejon broke, I guarantee you Big O and Brock were key blocking out in front.
They were in there.
What about a busted, horrible thrown, way underthrown ball?
Should have been picked.
Concentration and soft hands to
the house. Clint, I want to take you all the way back to the first quarter of the game and the very first catch that he had. This was back when Stetson was playing well. He threw it right over a man's head, and Brock went up and high-pointed that football with a man draped all over him. Big 25-yard gain down the field, setting up the first touchdown of the game. Brock Bowers is such an elite weapon, Clint. The University of Georgia has never seen anything like him.
Never.
He's 8th in career touchdowns right now. He's played 1.5 seasons.
Just hold on. I want to make sure you understand this. So if in the entirety of the history program of Georgia, in the touchdown
we've been forward
category,
passing it for a while.
Okay.
Yep. And of all those receiving touchdowns.
And this is a man who's currently in a system in which players leave early to go to the draft. So these are incorporating all the people that have been there for 4 years, 5 years on some cases.
Yep.
And he in 1.5 seasons.
1.5 years is 8th.
Is 8th. Okay.
He's coming for every record in the Georgia receiving record books.
Barring a cataclysmic injury, he has them. Just being pedestrian Brock Bowers from here on out.
Like
for the next 1.5 years, he has them.
He can't be stopped.
No.
He's every defensive coordinator's number one circled player.
Do you understand that when he gets tackled, even I noticed this game, when he gets tackled, no one has ever squared him up. I know that sounds weird. I know that's odd, but like just think about what that means for
he
your
never
physical,
takes a monster
athletic
hit over, and he goes over the middle all the time.
Now
and
that's
he
not
never
luck.
takes a big hit.
That's
that must
not
be
luck.
Clint.
No, it's not
lucky.
luck. That is twitchiness. That is speed. That is knowledge. That is awareness of your surroundings.
It's elite athleticism.
I can't tell you again what that describes. But when people miss on you, other high caliber elite defenders,
some would say,
whiff on you.
Yeah,
that's not their problem. You've become a problem for them. And that's what Brock Bowers is.
If you're a defensive lineman and you're playing against Georgia,
yes,
I urge you, for your own sake,
do
not jump off sides.
No,
because Stetson Bennett will see you, and when he gets that ball, he ain't going to throw it to no one else. He just going to huck towards where 19 is.
He down there somewhere.
He down there, and guess what he's going to do, Clint? He going to catch it.
He going to come down.
He going to come down with it.
Okay.
He's a weapon, the likes of which Georgia has not seen in a while.
Daniel, you texted me a couple weeks ago. You said you didn't think Branson. You said Branson's not elite. I've seen elite.
Okay.
I
said he's not elite yet. I said compare him to other freshman running backs we've seen at Georgia in the last 5 years and their freshman year. Ty Gurley, Nick Chubb. Mm-hmm. Compare him to these guys that we've seen play as a freshman, and he ain't there.
I offer now to you this mea culpa, this blank slate if you want to take it, Daniel.
Okay. Well, after seeing Branson Robinson get several carries in this game, which I was told he was not going to get any carries since we're talking about what people said to other people, Branson Robinson has got it.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Mack's the best runner on this team.
Hands down.
And he has really improved. And so I know we're talking about Branson Robinson here. This is a Branson Robinson little segment, and that's fine. We are big fans of Branson Robinson. But it shouldn't go any longer without it being stated on this podcast. Kenny Mack used to be a liability in the run game, in the turn and handoff run game.
Yes.
Weapon in the passing game, liability in the run game. He is the best runner now on this team, even surpassing Daijun Edwards, who is a heck of a runner. But in terms of just elite twitch, burst, and that intangible type of thing when you see a running back, and if you're a Georgia fan, you've seen plenty of and so you know what that is. He's got it. This kid's got it. 22's got it. So
22 has it. Balance, contact balance, physicality, elite burst, corner, get around
the continue to see it develop.
Everything.
We're going to continue to see it develop. And once he starts to get a bulk of the carries, it's a great problem to have right now because Kendall Milton's still out with this injury.
Yes.
And so I know that Branson's he's not just third on the depth chart. But while Kendall's out, so let's just talk about that.
Next probably 4 weeks.
He's slotted himself right in to a DeAndre Swift type role where he's going to get significant carries, but a much diminished carry. But when he comes in, he's going to be running with a little extra chutzpah. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Because the 1 and 2 backs are going to be carrying the bulk of the load, but Branson's the guy to watch. Yeah. He may bust a big one here before too long in this 2022 season because he's got it, Clint. The kid's got it.
Oh, I know he has it, Daniel. He has everything. Look, the offense performed very well. The defense performed out of their minds. There was a couple of bad positions that they got into, which brings us, Daniel.
before we get there.
Okay.
8 out of the last 12.
Okay.
5 out of the last 6.
Say more.
All-time series lead by 10 plus, no matter who you allow to count what football games are actual football games. When two football teams go and play, we call that a football game.
I think so.
Even if you don't count two football teams playing as a football game, still overall series lead of 10 plus. And so, yeah, Florida fan, pick an arbitrary number of years and tell me about how dominant your team is, because in the 90s, when none of these kids were even thinking about being born yet,
no one knows.
No one gives a crap about who Steve Spurrier is.
Who's Danny Werfel?
Cares about who those people are. None of these kids care about who Tim Tebow is. Do you know who they care about?
Who's that?
Kirby Smart. That's who they care about.
Oh, they care.
Because he makes them money and he wins them championships. And that is something that Florida is not on the cusp of. And you just, Clint, you just love to see it. You love to see it.
Look, now, if you were forced to go to Florida or you were forced to be a Florida fan, I would have pity on you. I would be like, oh yeah, this is a really bad situation for you. But that's not the case, Daniel. You're choosing this. That's on you. It's on you. Okay.
It's on you. Okay.
Loyal third segment listeners, come back for the saltiness right after this.
How's that Georgia sweatshirt like that? How's that XL? Clint, that's gonna be
rather large on somebody else.
It's
tomorrow.
It's gonna look nice though.
It's gonna look so nice.
It's gonna look nice. Okay. Georgia was very good in this game.
Yes, they were.
Except for the moments when Georgia was actually not sort of bad, but Georgia was really bad for a little while in this game.
Awful.
Okay. Do you want to start with the offense or the defense? I'm giving you all the choices today.
Offense.
Okay. Stetson Bennett was awful in the entire second half. He was. Don't quote stats at me, please.
I don't care about them.
Do yourself a favor.
Uh-huh.
I know the stats. Please do not quote stats at me.
He was over 300 yards.
Take the Brock Bowers offsides wasn't a touchdown, but take the Brock Bowers offsides, chuck it downfield, and Brock Bowers makes a play. Take that play out and look at the entire second half. Stetson Bennett made almost every wrong decision.
Literally.
He made almost every throw he made was a bad throw.
Was behind, above, not ahead. It was late, delayed, and behind the receiver by a good 1 to 2 feet.
Or if he didn't do one of those first two things, he threw it directly to the University of Florida.
Yep.
He was very bad. Now, this is not either of us calling for Stetson Bennett to be benched or something like that. I think there's so much PTSD in the Georgia fan base that, we're not allowed to say what's true without coming across as if, we're trying to pull Stetson Bennett or, he's not the best option at quarterback. He's not very good at quarterback. He was pretty good in this game all around.
Yes.
The Dom Blaylock interception was not Stetson's fault. Stetson made an unbelievable throw. Probably his best throw of the day on that play. The Florida defensive player made one of the best plays I've ever seen a defensive back make on a ball.
There is a couple times in life, Daniel, where you can perfectly defend a pass and there's nothing you could do. That was this. He perfectly defended the pass. A perfect pass, there's nothing you could do. All he did is
take the ball away.
He just literally wrestled a ball out as they were doing gymnastics going out of bounds.
Unbelievable play.
Unreal.
Not Stetson's fault.
No.
In the second half, though, Stetson Bennett was awful. He was on the run pass options. He was throwing when he should have been handing it off.
Why?
And every throw was behind. He threw it 10 feet over Darnell Washington's head. Almost should have been intercepted.
He's 6'7".
That ball should have almost been intercepted again. The offense struggled because Stetson Bennett struggled. The run game and the offensive line was actually very good in the second half, carried the team.
Outrageous.
But in that third quarter, the offense mightily struggled because Stetson Bennett mightily struggled. He looked scary bad in that game, or in that third quarter, especially.
Liability bad. It would have been better. We made a joke that Iowa, I think ESPN proved or something like that, Iowa would have been better off last week just punting on every first down. They would have had a closer margin of loss, defeat. It would have been better if we would have ran the ball literally every play in the second half.
If we had announced what play we were running, which run play it was, and then run it anyway every single down.
That's how bad he was. Okay. We can't only dwell on him because
because I need you to talk about Malachi.
I got to make
for a second.
I have to do this. It has to come from somebody you love, Malachi. So let me be the one. Okay.
Somebody who loves you.
Yes. Let's
get
exactly.
the wording right.
Exactly. You played like you were a first year, way out in front of your skis, have no clue what's going on, lost in translation, freshman in the SEC, and it was embarrassing. You sucked up on plays that you should not have any business sucking up on.
Up on. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I stopped listening to you after the first two words of that sentence, and I was fine with it.
You sucked.
I thought you sucked. I thought literally that's where you were going. Like,
no, he was coming down.
You were describing it.
Like I was trying to give more analysis other than just the you play bad. But he was awful in this game, Daniel. He was letting people behind him, tackling. He made a fair amount of tackles, but there was a couple of tackles that he whiffed on. And we're going to get to my biggest problem on this team here in a moment. But Malachi. This was your worst game. Worst game by far. Wasn't even close.
It was his worst game by far. He wasn't the only problem, and he wasn't the only problem in the secondary, Clint.
Can we get to the worst? Daniel, we agree on this. This is an agreement. Now, if you don't believe this, dog fan.
It is. You're not you don't like it, you don't believe it. I understand. Sure. You don't want to hear it. You're not ready to hear it.
What we're about to say is absolute truth because Bullard has ascended and he's playing incredible football right now.
If you were wringing your hands about the Dan Jackson injury, which everyone should be upset about the Dan Jackson injury for the kid, but if you were wringing your hands about the Dan Jackson injury, you've not spent enough time watching 22 play football because Javon Bullard is stepping in admirably.
Bona fide stud.
Shoes. He's playing great. Kamari Lassiter is playing great. Speaking of young kids,
out. My goodness.
Not out over his skis. The moment's not too big for him. Got some bogus call.
Oh my gosh, that was trash.
Played great. Has been playing great. Is getting better every week. Chris Smith, we already talked about, is an animal. He is a monster. First round draft pick type of player. On the back end.
Danny, really quick, Chris, he might be the most complete safety that Kirby has had.
He could be.
Okay, sorry.
He could be.
So all of those players
the guy we
are there.
thought was going to anchor this secondary. Keely Ringo's been the worst player in the secondary, nay, the worst player on the defense this
Hands
year.
Down. Guys.
And if you want to argue, please tell me which player has been worse than him. Because there ain't one. He's not bad.
Nope.
Neither Clint nor I are saying he's bad. He made some good plays tonight. He was in position several times. He made some plays. He came off his man in the end zone, went almost intercepted that ball, made a great play at it, really read the quarterback's eyes, made a great play. But when you get him one-on-one down the field, he doesn't look ready to make a play defending the ball. He's not getting beat.
Nope.
He's just getting beaten to the ball.
Yeah.
Consistently over and over and over again.
This is a really weird thing. And I watched this on tackling. You mentioned Lassiter. Lassiter, when he comes up and runs support, the guy is looking for violence.
He's ready to hit you.
He is ready to hit you. When Keely Ringo comes up and runs support right now,
it's not the same.
He doesn't want any business of what's happening.
No.
Now, I only bring that up to say there's a disinterest. When you are in phase, when you're running with somebody and you're getting beat to the ball, that's not speed being a problem. That's not technique being a problem. That's literally just desire and determination and will.
It's not. No. Yeah, it is just he's just making poor plays on the ball, and he's just not putting himself in a position to get to and finish the defense of the pass. He's doing everything up until the ball arrives at the receiver's hands, at which point it feels like consistently, time after time this year, he just stops. Or he mistimes his jump. Or he reaches but misses the ball. Like the ball goes literally through his hands and gets to the receiver.
Or you drop a sure pick six. These are the things that are happening consistently.
And if it happens one week, if it happens another week, you let it go. You've seen enough. You feel like you. But it's Dog fans. It's been consistent, and at this point, it is a concern. Keely Ringo is a concern. He's probably still better than Kamari Lassiter, technically. Like
I bet so.
But it doesn't feel like he's better because the expectations you had for those two were so different. And Kamari's played so much above his. And Keely's played so much below his that even though he might still be better, it doesn't feel. No. It feels like he's worse.
Effect on the game, Daniel, which, again, talking about when two football teams come together and perform actions of football, it's a football game. Mm-hmm. When you have talent and skill, it's how you affect the game. And if you affect the game neutrally or negatively, Keely Ringo is affecting this game neutrally or negatively. Kamari Lassiter affecting our defense very, very positively.
Yeah. It's something it's just something to watch. The defensive front, especially, we're going to get to Nolan Smith, but Clint, he's out. It's not good. It's not
Look, no, good. You don't know. I tried to explain a separation and a subluxation to you. We don't know.
Listen, if Kirby says it might be separated, why in the world would he say that? Why would he say that
if it
wasn't separated?
If it was separated, he would not be able to stand on the sidelines and cheer leading up to halftime. He wouldn't be able to.
I think you're discounting how much stronger Nolan Smith is than you, but it's not. It's that notwithstanding, the defensive front looks ready. They look great. The secondary is now, I would say, back to being a concern. With the way we saw Malachi play today and the way we've seen Keely play, I think you have to say, are there weak spots on this Georgia team? Yes, there are. Where are they? They're not in the front four. They're not in the middle three. They're on the back end. And
isn't that so bizarre, Daniel?
It's bizarre.
We started the season with that complete inversion.
Circle.
Here's the deal. Now, little preview up for this week of podcasts. Yes, we got Tennessee. Daniel, do you understand what Tennessee tries to do on a regular basis to set up Hendon Hooker?
Tennessee fans are here in the comments. They could let you know in the comments.
You let me know that you actually love power running, and they do.
Uh-huh.
Like, again,
they do.
They do.
They do.
We held Florida, one of the better rushing attacks, to 1 yard per carry in the first half, Daniel.
Yep, but they don't run that tempo. It's that tempo. They don't run that speed. They don't have that speed. They don't hit you with the mustard the way that Tennessee does. You know what I'm saying?
Look, it's almost as if there's just golf balls raining down from on high.
That is correct.
That's how it's like it.
That's what it's like when Small and Hooker come at you. Which sounds like just the worst movie that you could ever rent. Ever rent.
You got that. You rent that. You have some explaining to do somebody.
It shows up on the credit card receipt. Somebody's going to be asking some questions. Somebody's going to be asking some. It says here this was a no. Okay.
I was just
they do love to run the ball
to
set up that. They love to run that to set up that outside passing game. It's going to be an interesting week of discussion here. I think we're maybe still coming at this game from two different perspectives, but we've got a lot of discussion to have.
Oh yeah.
Tennessee fans, you're going to love us. Georgia fans, you're going to hate us.
Yes.
Or Georgia fans, you're going to hate us for loving our team. And Tennessee fans, you're going to love us for hating and doubting your team. See, it could go either way, Clint.
Oh, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
Nice things about Georgia, fans hate us.
They do. They really do.
If we say bad things about Georgia, holy hell, Georgia fans hate us.
They do. They really do.
And so it really won't matter. You're going to be entertained one way or the other.
This is why the loyal third segment listeners right here hearing the diatribe that we're giving them.
Not gurus, not insiders. We are just monkeys here to amuse you. Like, it's just, we are out here. I had this idea, Clint. I had this idea 35 minutes in. I had this idea. What if we do this, Clint?
Okay.
No, listen.
I'm listening.
I came up with this.
Hold
I have
on.
a lot of great ideas.
If you guys don't understand that every good idea this podcast has ever had starts with Daniel, just so that's disclaimer.
What if we try to get the host of Locked On Tennessee to come on here?
Hold on.
And then we have a discussion with him about the game. What if we did that?
I would say, Daniel, look, I would have to mandate that. I am mandating that happens this week.
Well, we don't have to, but we have. It feels like we have to do that.
I'm saying you have to.
Oh, I see. All right. Well, we'll shoot for that then.
Okay,
we'll try
let's
to do that. All right, we'll do that. All right, we'll be back this week for a full week of pods here on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
See ya.